Hey there, First Coast fam. I am super excited to be out and about right now, and of all places, Laser Loft, with the man himself, Rafael Brea. Rafael Brea, I gave you a distance hug.
Air hug.
Yeah, air hug. Yes. All right, so let's dive straight into why I'm here, which is the amazing treatments you guys have to offer, and one of them is cool shaping. Tell us about that.
Yes, definitely. That's actually our #1 treatment right now is cool shaping, because our clients are able to see amazing results of fat loss and inch loss and skin tightening in all areas of the body.
Okay. I know when people hear that, they typically go, okay, that sounds really too good to be true, but there is science backing this, so how does it all work?
There is. So our particular cool shaping machines, they actually use heat and freezing temperatures to help to kill and destroy fat cells. It's a process called cryolipolysis. So we're able to manipulate the fat cell so that your lymphatic system actually removes it as waste, and you're able to see almost instant results for a flatter belly, more toned thighs. It even helps with cellulite as well.
Oh, that is awesome. So I know that you get a lot of people that come in here. I mean, how soon or quickly can you actually see results, and how long do they last?
That's a great question. So we do have a lot of clients that are completing these treatments, both men and women, that have seen great results from these treatments. And like I said, you can see results almost instantly, even with one treatment. When you come in, we'll examine the area that you're looking to treat, and we've had clients that have seen amazing results.
I love cool shaping. I've actually been with Laser Loft for about 7 years now, and I come in and have cool shaping done, and I have it done on my problem areas. So I've had 4 children, so I keep coming back for maintenance. It doesn't hurt. There's absolutely no downtime to the procedure whatsoever. So my suggestion is, if you get a chance, come and visit the Laser Loft family, and they do treat you like family here.
Rafael, obviously that is a happy camper right there. So what about safety and health? Because I know that's top of mind for a lot of folks right now.
Right, exactly. So we do our best to keep up with all health and safety guidelines, and everyone is welcomed here. And so we'll make sure that when you walk through these doors that you feel comfortable.
And I guess my last question for you is, what are some of the popular treatment places or spots that people use this for?
Oh, great question. So some of our most popular areas are the belly fat, so that stubborn lower abdomen area that sometimes diet and exercise won't get rid of, the love handles, the thighs. For women, the bra fat area. Sometimes we're able to, well, most of the times we're able to actually slim the bra fat area, and even to the chin. So the double chin area is another very popular place that we see amazing results.
All right, so the results are obviously something that you know you can get when you get here. It's a matter of figuring out what works best for you. So what can people expect when they get in the door if they are ready to take on the treatment?
Yes, so what you can expect is a full consultation. Once again, we'll make you feel as comfortable as possible, and that you're going to see great results.
All right, got to ask. What do you got for us in the offer department? Tell me what you got.
We have an amazing special. Since you came all the way out here, our first treatment for the first 20 callers is actually going to be only $99. So you can choose any area. That treatment will be only $99 to the first 20 who call or text us at the number on the screen.
All right, well, you heard it, folks. Go ahead, pick up the phone, call now, and you can always find this information and more on our website at firstcoastliving.net.